And let's start with NFL Most Valuable Player, where Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are at the top of the board, followed by Patrick Mahomes of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, I think this is actually the week to go ahead and start betting the Most Valuable Player of the Year award. Like, I went into this week not thinking that I was going to bet this one, but the more that I thought about this, I think we do have a buy point on one of the guys, and that's Lamar Jackson, who's sitting there at 3-1 over at BetMGM. I pushed this off like all season long of waiting to see if maybe somebody else could emerge or voter fatigue could kick in. Everyone's on board with this guy being the MVP, and this upcoming week, the Baltimore Ravens are playing in a game where they're almost a touchdown favorite against a division rival, marquee game against Cincinnati, Thursday Night Football, but the total is 53. Like, if the total is 53, like, we're going to get a lot of points, a lot of yardage, and there's a good chance that Lamar has another big statistical game in primetime with everyone watching. The conversation on Friday morning will be about how Lamar Jackson is the runaway midseason MVP. That doesn't mean he's going to win, but I do think grabbing 3-1 right now is a good bet to make while these other guys are still trying to figure it out and like what's going on there. So I like Lamar at 3-1. I have Josh Allen from last month. We talked about that a month ago about Josh Allen at like 6-1 plus 650. But I think now is the time to grab some Lamar Jackson ahead of a marquee matchup on Thursday Night Football. That's how I'm betting Most Valuable Player of the Year. Mahomes can definitely win. His stats are getting a little bit better. His price has drifted to 5-1. But right now, Lamar is so far ahead of these guys statistically. He's outplayed himself from what he did last year when he won MVP, and also this first time he won MVP. He's in line to win the third one as long as he stays healthy, keeps playing like this, and the Ravens win the NFC North. So Lamar 3-1 for me.
Femi coming out firing already here on NFL awards. Okay, so Lamar, the bet right now for NFL Most Valuable Player. Femi, is there anything to do with Offensive Player of the Year where Derrick Henry has moved out to minus 150 at the midway point? Minus 150. Saquon Barkley with the Play of the Year, the backwards hurdle this past Sunday, up next, plus 250. And this is a real three-man race, it feels like. And Justin Jefferson, who is, he's the best receiver in the league. I don't know if he'll win Offensive Player of the Year like he did a couple years ago. It feels like this is the best he's ever played. Jefferson plus 750. What about OPOY?
Yeah, I think that hurdle by Saquon Barkley kind of like entrenched him as like the top challenger to Derrick Henry, but this is still a Derrick Henry spot. Like, we're like, he is not a vulnerable favorite. The only thing that makes him vulnerable is the position that he plays. Maybe he gets injured, knock on wood, but that's every running back has to deal with that. And Henry's been one of the most durable running backs in the history of the league. Even at the age of north of 30, he's still kicking ass. So right now, like, he's 1,000 yards, 11 touchdowns. Like, I don't think you're betting into this market. If you have Henry tickets, congrats. Like, you have a really good bet. But right now, I don't think you want to go ahead and go up against him. There's other markets where you can attack the favorite. This is not one of those.
Better spot, sandwich spot or Derrick Henry spot?
Derrick Henry spot. He's Tractor Cito. Like, going to go for 2,000.
I'm always hungry. TJ Watt is the favorite here at minus 140, followed by Chris Jones at plus 700, Will Anderson and Dexter Lawrence, Femi, both at 11-1.
Yeah, a while ago we bet some Chris Jones at a better number than the 7-1 right now. I don't think there's a bet to be made, but I do think that this is a really interesting market, maybe in the next week or two, because TJ Watt, like, odds-on favorite, but the team, they're about to hit a rough stretch from a schedule standpoint. If the Steelers start losing games, and let's say they just get to that win total and they finish 9-8 or 10-7, that means there's going to be a lot of losing this second half of the season because they're sitting there at 6-2. I think there's going to be chances to take shots at TJ Watt. I want to just see like who's going to be that like big time player, that former all pro that ends up being that person. I would love it for it to be Chris Jones, but he's got to start picking up the pace. He's still at 3 sacks. And we had talked about him like a month ago when he was at 3 sacks. We need him to start racking up those sacks. If the Chiefs win a bunch of games and he gets to double digits, I actually do think he would win this award, but he's got to pick up the pace right now. But I think this gets fun in the second half of the season. Nothing right now, but I think just keep your eye on DPOY. There's a really good chance there's going to be some fun opportunities later on.
And Dexter Lawrence, by the way, since we talked about him a couple of weeks ago, like, I don't think anyone would dispute that he might be the best defensive player in the league. 0 sacks in the last 2 games at the Steelers and at home against the Washington Commanders. Now, maybe that changes on Sunday against Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers. Has Jaden Daniels entered hit by bus territory, like Julio Rodriguez hit by a bus territory, where Jaden has to get hit by a bus in order to not win the award? Daniels minus 1,200, Caleb Williams plus 2,500, Bo Nix 30, Neighbors 35, Bowers 35. Anything to talk about here at all?
No, he's not quite at hit by bus territory, but I think if this continues all the way to Thanksgiving, then we do reach that point where he could just take December off and still win the award. But right now, minus 1,200. Injury is the only thing that's going to prevent Jaden Daniels from being the offensive rookie of the year. It's a hard pass. Congrats to everybody who bet him. Just hold on and just cross your fingers that he stays healthy. You'll cash your ticket at NFL Honors Night the Thursday before the Super Bowl.
Listen, dude, I don't know if it's because I've killed so many brain cells in my life. It's a lot. Or because, like, you know, and I say this sometimes, and I understand, like, any new parent goes through the same thing. Like, you don't sleep a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, maybe just like my memory shot. I don't remember seeing, like, this many this early in the season, like, minus prices for NFL awards at this point. Like, Henry's a minus right now for offensive player.
Yep.
Watt's a minus for defensive player. Daniels is a huge minus for offensive rookie. And we have a minus for defensive rookie also, with Jared Verse. He's minus 165 right now for the Rams. And for comeback also, Latu plus 700. Quinyon Mitchell, 17-1. Evan Williams of the Packers is a 20. Cooper DeJean, I think, is a little interesting for the Eagles. Is starting to get an absolute ton of pub. He's awesome. I think he's better than Quinyon Mitchell. Anything doing here with Defensive Rookie of the Year with Jared Verse of the Rams? Probably a deserved favorite.
Yeah, he's definitely a deserved favorite, but I will say that there's a lot of time left to go. Like this time last year, everyone thought that Jalen Carter was going to walk to winning this award. People were writing Jalen Carter in pen. He slows down. Will Anderson heats up. Anderson ends up winning because recency bias matters a lot. So the way I'm going to attack this, I'm just going to take a flyer. Like this is not a big bet, just taking a little bit of something just to see if there could be potential down the line. And that's what the guy that was the preseason favorite, Dallas Turner of the Minnesota Vikings. Like he went through a stretch in October when he wasn't playing a lot of snaps. This past Sunday, he played nearly 50% of the snaps. I know Kevin O'Connell has talked about them wanting to see more of Dallas Turner. I think they're going to put him more in the rotation in the second half of the season. Clearly, he's talented. It was a mid-first round pick. So like I'm going to bet on the talent, bet on the pedigree. I'll go Dallas Turner 60-1. Not a big bet. And maybe in a couple of weeks, Verse gets more sacks, and all of a sudden we're just like, whatever, he's going to win. But he's only at 3.5 sacks. Dallas Turner's 2.5 behind there. That's going to be erased in one big game from Dallas Turner. So it's 60-1. Dallas Turner, just a small flyer in this market, just because there's so much time left to go with the second half of the season. Things can still change, even though right now it looks like Jared Verse.
And we will do it moved to start the 6 o'clock hour, the final hour of the show. My guess is, Femi, is that Trevor Lawrence is going to play on Sunday for the Jaguars, but he's not 100%. Yeah. The Jaguars just signed C.J. Beathard to the active roster, which implies that at the very least there's some concern that Lawrence won't be able to go on Sunday. So if he does, he's not 100%. Here's Dallas Turner. And if he doesn't play, here's Mac Jones.
Dying to get sacked.
How about them Turners? Let's go to comeback player of the year, where another award market where if you've been, it is kind of dumb, where if you've been paying attention to this segment, to this show, to what Femi's been saying, you have a way better number than what Kirk Cousins is at right now for comeback player of the year, where Cousins is now a minus favorite. Minus 110 to be comeback player of the year. Again, Femi's been talking about Cousins 4 weeks. He did the work. You didn't have to. Hopefully you listened. Joe Burrow plus 525. J.K. Dobbins plus 550. DeMar Hamlin at 8. Kyler Murray at 10. Aaron Rodgers 11. Nick Chubb at 12. Femi, take us home here this segment with comeback player of the year.
Well, the good thing is that if you didn't listen, there's still meat on the bone. Because I think that at minus 110, minus 105 is out there as well. It's still a bet to win comeback player of the year, that being Kirk Cousins. Once again, cleanest case. He's coming off an Achilles injury. He's playing now at a high level as like a top 10 quarterback, leading his team to a potential division title that they're probably going to clinch maybe in 3 weeks, depending on what Tampa Bay does. Atlanta is minus 1,600 to win the division, and Kirk Cousins is minus 110. Like, you do the math there. That, to me, feels like a really good bet and a really good case for somebody who missed time last year, now leading a new team to the division. It's a really easy narrative. Now, I will say, the one guy that does scare me in this market is Aaron Rodgers. If the Jets heat up and they go on a run and they make the playoffs, just think about what that will be like. That means the Jets are winning a bunch of games. Rodgers gets hot. They're going to get so much attention. So Cousins is a bet for me right now. But let's see what happens in this coin flip game for New York against Arizona. If they win that one, you then definitely need to start thinking about covering your ass with some Aaron Rodgers a little bit in this market. So just kind of go about it that way. Bet Cousins now, but keep an eye on Aaron Rodgers because he's the only guy that has the upside, being a bigger name quarterback, to actually beat Kirk Cousins down the stretch.
10 seconds. So what are the bets for right now, if any new ones?
Lamar Jackson 3-1 to win MVP. Dallas Turner 60-1 to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. Dan Quinn still at plus 180 to win Coach of the Year. Kirk Cousins minus 105 to win Comeback Player of the Year. And then just hope the Jets lose and you don't have to worry about Aaron Rodgers.
Femi did the work. Your lazy ass just got to watch and listen.